Hi, it's your sewing Sherpa Shauna here at Needles and Knots in Tucson, Arizona, and I am introducing the Master Patterns course for 2024. So, pattern making is what I have been doing most of my life. I love making patterns. I love sewing from patterns. I find patterns to be absolutely fascinating, and they're my life, basically. Why do you want to learn how to make patterns? So here's the deal. Making patterns as just an exercise, like an art, like, painting a picture or something, is not very rewarding. It's confusing, it's work, it's, you might love fashion and maybe you even like sewing, but that does not guarantee you're going to love pattern making. I connected with it really early on, and it's something that I never questioned that was going to be part of my life, right? So here is your opportunity to explore that over the next, however many, 50 weeks. Yeah, it's going to be like the full 50 weeks. We're going to be going through pattern making in a particular order. So here's the thing. I have started it out with basic body measurements. That's the first course. And you may want to stop right after that. I don't know. Basic body measurements are so fleeting. It's like you might be, a certain measurement right now, and then you just have your heart broken and you don't eat for 3 months and you're a totally different measurement, right? So that's one of the hazards of the, basic blocks. I mean, honestly, they'll still fit you because you're not going to grow taller when you stop eating or shorter when you eat more. So in a way, these are, built around your frame, but you may need to learn how to make them a little wider or narrower depending on, things that happen. So anyways, we start out with the basic body measurements, and then the next thing I'm going to do is 2 sessions on basic pattern making skills. There will be a little bit of draping in those 2 weeks. There's going to be a little bit of drafting. I'm going to go over the tools, which you may have gone over in pattern making primer. But we're going to talk about kind of the rules, with seams or without seams on our blocks, and the things that you mark on it, and the proper sequence, how you track your progress through your pattern samples and your muslins, and how you keep them together and keep them organized, because it can get really confusing. And so these 3 classes are pretty fundamental. If you miss them, I'm going to try and record the pattern making basics portion, but of course I can't record the measuring. You're going to need somebody with you. For the measuring portion, you will need to have leotards with a turtleneck, right? And I have a link to that. And leggings that go up to your waist. We will be taping our entire bodies up in all sorts of fun ways to measure it, because this is part of the process. You're not a mannequin, and it's easy to tape and measure a mannequin, but people, we need to have some sort of something to pin to tape onto. So anyhow, that's those 3 classes. Then next is the skirt. So the skirt is one of the easiest to draft. It is easy to sew. It is easy to fit. And I have often received this comment that, oh, I don't want to do the skirt because I don't ever wear skirts. I wear shirts, I wear pants, I wear tunics, but I don't really wear skirts, and I very rarely wear dresses. And I get it. I mean, I very rarely wear skirts myself, but I want you to think of it like this, right? Let's just say you decided you want to go into art, right? and you know that you're fascinated with oil paintings of flowers, right? So you go in, and the first class, they're like, okay, so today we're going to take a charcoal pencil and draw a square and then turn it into a cube, right? You'd be like, but well, I don't really want to take this class today because I have no interest in pencils or cubes. I want to do a flower in oil painting, right? So here's the thing. There's a certain process that you go through, and you kind of have to trust me on this, that kind of warms you up, that kind of gets you to understand, well, with the art one, it's like perspective. Once you can figure out perspective in charcoal with a box, you can bring that perspective into your oil painting with the flowers eventually, right? So with pattern making, it's about handling the tools and handling the paper and correlating the measurements of your body to the paper. It's an experience. And I'm running the first three classes and the skirt, and then the skirt variations. So the skirt variations is pretty fun. It's like kind of how do you use this pattern to create different styles? Like, what part would you use to make a circle skirt? What part would you use to make a dirndl? Midi skirt or a wrap skirt, or how the pattern, this basic ugly little block of a pattern, how it turns into style and how it can help you figure out fit on other patterns that you buy. It's so much to learn in such a short time. I have spread each class out over 2 weeks. So you come in 3 hours one week and you don't come back in the next week, and they come in the week after for 3 hours. And that gives you plenty of time between the two to really go deep. So you're going to have to go deep on your own without me being there, because it could get really expensive to have me there all the time going deep, right? So you have to, and that's where you're going to find out. You're going to find out within this first, 6-9 weeks, whether or not, pattern making actually interests you enough to go home and do your homework and go deep and learn a little bit more. And I'll be sending you links to places where you can go and expand your knowledge, and books that you can buy that will, accompany you during this journey. So we're going to, at the beginning of June, that's when I'm going to start into the rest of the courses. So by that time, hopefully I'll have had 16 people go through the first part, and I'll be able to pull out 8 that are really ready and excited to go forward. And if I can't pull out, 5 to 8 people, the future ones may, I don't know, we'll see what happens, but that's my hope. It gives me about 6 months, about five months to pull together a small tribe of people here in Tucson who want to spend the next year going deep. And after we get through this first round of Master Patterns courses, I will be introducing some other courses in like knit blocks and the contour blocks and things like that, if I find that there's interest. But maybe by the end of the first year, you're going to be so comfortable with your pattern making skills that you'll be able to expand all on your own with the help that is out there on the internet and in books and stuff like that. So anyways, yes, there is a series, there is an order, and if you miss that order, we'll have to talk about whether or not, you can jump in June with the bodice, because the bodice is the most essential block, and it is also the most difficult one to do. So that's why I didn't start with it, because I don't want to scare you all off right at the very beginning. Start with the skirt. We're going to start with the skirt. Okay, well, if you have any questions or whatever, please feel free to reach out, and otherwise, I'll see you in the Master Patterns course starting super soon.